Hello, everybody. It's the Gaming Optimist. Today, I'm talking about Mortal Kombat. I have so many damn reviews called Mortal Kombat. I beat this one, also known as MK9 in Mortal Kombat 2011. This is the reboot. Wow, I can't believe this game is 12 years old now. That is wild. That's insane. It is now coming up on 13 years. So Armageddon happened. Everyone is dead. The last two remaining fighters atop the Pyramid of Argus are Raiden and Shao Kahn. Shao has killed Blaze and acquired great power. Raiden gets killed, but only after he's able to send a message back to his past self. He must win. This causes a bit of a butterfly effect when we go back to the very first tournament. Raiden's visions completely mess everything up, and it genuinely upset me. It genuinely upset me. Raiden made me so mad, dude. Oh my god. It was a genius way for NetherRealm Studios to reboot the franchise while also continuing the storyline from Armageddon. Damn good game overall, even if the story itself deeply angered me, and it really did. It made me so mad. And we'll get into why here in a second when we look at the roster, the character select. Um, this is the first game that had guest characters. And wouldn't you know, Xbox really got shafted here. And as a Sony fanboy for most of my life, I felt bad genuinely for Xbox players. Like, what? Like, why do they get shafted? That's messed up. We got Scorpion. This is a fantastic roster, by the way. We got Scorpion. With the reboot, Scorpion's kind of been like he takes a backseat in this game. He's just the undead specter wanting revenge. Um, he's a total jobber in this game. Liu Kang, he's the chosen one. Kung Lao, he's the jealous cousin. Sub Zero, both Bihan and Kuai Liang are in this game as Sub Zero. So there's like an alternate skin for Sub Zero that's basically Bihan. And this is the game that established that that's their names, Bihan and Kuai Liang, older, younger. So there are two separate, but there's actually a secret third option. There's actually a fourth option too, technically speaking. Um, Sindel is in this game. She is the same old as she was in the last game, but in this one they change it so that Quan Chi is the one that resurrects her, and thus she's even more powerful than she was in the last one. Um, who's that? Ermac. Also, Quan Chi created him too. Quan Chi's super OP, so Ermac is even like deadlier. Reptile's here. He's also a jobber. I love his design in this game though. I had to pause real quick. Talking about Reptile. Reptile looks cool. Katana is in this game, and in a weird retcon, she doesn't know that Shao Kahn isn't her biological father. She doesn't know about King Jared and all of that stuff. And they also do something weird with Sindel too, that they didn't establish until MK11. But in the OG timeline, Sindel unalives herself because she can't stand the thought of being with Shao Kahn. In this timeline, however, she's having an affair with Shao Kahn. She's evil, and people have called her Twindell. They hate this change, this retcon. I do too, but it makes sense with the butterfly effect changing so much. She's attracted to power. There's something in her that's attracted to Shao Kahn, and she chooses to sleep with him. And then she actually helps Shao Kahn murder Jared, and then I think somehow she gets killed, and they stage it to make it look like it was an unaliving situation. Um, yeah, it's totally fucked up. And Katana just is like this poor, sad little girl in this game. Johnny Cage is here. He's now got a tattoo that says Johnny right here on the chest. I love it. I think that's great. There were some mixed reviews on that. I was like, Johnny would totally be the type to get fucking Johnny tattooed across the chest. Then he has a belt that says Cage, so it's like Johnny Cage. Um, just as cocky as ever. Jade's here. She's the bestie. The role of the bestie. Melina is a freshly made clone. Katana has no idea who this monstrosity is. Who is this? and she's like a Harley Quinn Joker type of let us dance, like it's just crazy. Um, Nightwolf is here. He shows up in the first. So in the first opening scenes, he must win. We travel back in time to Mortal Kombat One. Both Raiden and Raiden's looking around like, what the hell? What was that? And they're at Shang Tsung's island for the first tournament. So we went back in time. But one of the people there, cross armed, is Nightwolf, and I was like, and Quan Chi was there too, and I was like, why is Quan Chi there? Quan Chi wasn't there, and also we have Human Sector and Human Cyrax, and I was like, what is going on here? What do they do? And the way that I can make it make sense in my head was like, oh, okay, the butterfly effect, yeah, and it would make sense for Nightwolf to be there. This is a big event. This is the final. If we lose this tournament, we're done. Outworld has us, so it made sense that Nightwolf would be there. Again, Sector and Cyrax are in this game. Cyrax has a really good storyline where he's a human. He doesn't want to really go through the cybernization. Bihan gets killed, but Cyrax and Sector still hang around. They're just like, well, he's dead now. Sector knows about it. Cyrax knows about it. Cyrax really doesn't want to do it, and then Raiden talks to him. Is like, hey, I know. And he's like, how do you know about this? He's like, well, because this, whatever. And he's like, don't worry about how I know, just whatever. And you have a choice. And he chooses, I don't want to do it. He's like, I choose humanity. It's like, yes. They still get him, and he's still. It's such a downer. In MK, in the events of MK3 during the game, the Earthrealm invasion, he shows up. It's like, no, they got you. Noob Saibot's back, so Bihan, Noob Saibot. Right next to Noob Saibot is Smoke. Look at that, Noob Smoke. Smoke is in he looks really cool. This is what told us that he's Tomas Verbata, empowered by a demon named Ninra. Same thing with Johnny Cage. He's like got descendants of like some kind of monks or whatever the fuck. Smoke is dope in this game. Then we were talking about Sector. Sonya's here, busty as ever. I'm glad that they went away from the over sexualization. Like there's no point. Like what practicality would she have a vest and no bra underneath? What are we doing here? Because I think that's what the outfit was. Then we have she's not the damsel in distress in this game, but she's not really the damsel in distress. She falls in love with Johnny. I feel like in the old timeline they did as well. There's a lot of references to that because of the movie as well. But in this one they really leaned into that aspect. Here's Jax, he's back. They retconned it in the original timeline. He just gets like upgrades. He just upgrades his arms. And they've now made it so that no, he had to get like full cybernetic replacements for his arms. In this one, Ermac fucking explodes his arms. He just like picks him up, levitates him. His arms are out like this, and then just blows his fucking arms up. Kano is here. He's pretty cool in this game. Then there's Stryker. I think he is the best he's ever looked in a Mortal Kombat game ever in this game. Police Brutality coming up. I love Stryker in this game. His best yet. It also made a lot of people want John Cena to play Stryker in a movie. I'm totally down for that. Shang Tsung, I hate his Mortal Kombat vs. DC universe voice actor and his design. Oh my god. And he and Quan Chi, they have a little moment where it's like, we will, this deadly alliance. It's like, oh cool, that's really cheeky. I like that. They really nerfed the fuck out of him in this game. They gave everything that he did in the old timeline to fucking Quan Chi. Here's Baraka, Chop Chop. He's just here. There's Cabal. He's retconned slightly. He's a good guy in the old timeline. He was part of the Black Dragon. He left because he didn't jive with it anymore. In this timeline, yes, he left, but he also joined the police force. He is Stryker's partner. And then he gets burned by both Goro and Kintaro. And he has to... Kano finds him and then gives him all these, like, whatever, these enhancements. Almost done. Then there's Raiden. He's like the main character in this game. He's the one that has the vision, sends the visions back. Unlockable character, Cyber Sub Zero. So remember how I said there's like three different versions? Kuai Liang is captured. One of the dumbest fucking moments. They save Smoke. Raiden saves Smoke, and then later on they start to capture Sub Zero, and they try to stop him, and Raiden's like, "There's nothing we can do. Like let him cook." Like what? And then Johnny Cage is like, Johnny like tells him, I forgot what the line is, but I'm like, thank God, like I forgot that people have common sense and they're like really questioning Raiden. It makes so much sense. Shiva's here. She doesn't really do much. Quan Chi is here. He's unlockable. Again, OP as hell. All get out. Kratos is the PlayStation exclusive guest character. When they announced him, I was like, "Get the fuck out of here! Shut the fuck up!" And my younger brother was like, "That's stupid." And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, I think guest characters are more Soul Calibur's thing. Like, I think it's stupid." I'm like, "Nah, I'm excited." I've talked about Kratos and my character ranking as being my favorite guest character. I love God of War, so I thought he was a no brainer. And then they talked about DLC, and I remember the first DLC characters they talked about. I read about in like I think GameStop magazine, Scarlet and Kenshi, and I was like, Scarlet was like the rumored character. I think I went in depth about that. Ermac was one. Rain technically. There's a couple of them. Scarlet was like a glitch, and they really give her without having like a real like really being involved in the story, in the story mode. They really do give her a lot that's interesting. That really got me excited to see her in the future. Um, Kinshi coming back, awesome, no brainer too, because he's the same age as the OG fighters, so it makes sense that he'd be here. And he does kind of have a little story beat where in the background you hear, next up Kinshi versus Reiko. It's like that's cool. And then we have Rain, who is given a little bit more of a story. It makes sense for him to be there because he was in MK3. I love him in this game actually. And then Freddy Krueger is the last DLC character, and I had mixed feelings about him. Overall, I think he's decent. And then we have the unplayables, Kintaro, Goro and Kintaro, and Shao Kahn, and they're given their story moments. Shao Kahn is the main antagonist. He's the big one. Um, so what I didn't like about the story. Okay, so Scorpion's a jobber. Um, Liu Kang fucking dies in this game. He's really questioning Raiden and what he's doing. Like, why are you doing this? And he ends up fighting Raiden in the end. And Raiden's like, I'm sorry, I have to do this. Like, he's like, why are we going to ask the Elder Gods? Why are we going here and begging mercy from NetherRealm? Why are you just submitting to Shao Kahn? Very rightfully so. Like you're with Liu Kang right there. Like what are you doing? It's very understandable why he does what he does, and he charges up. Like you fight Liu Kang. He's like the sub boss basically of the story. You fight him, and then he starts charging up, and Raiden shocks him to stop him, and in doing so, the lightning and the fire mix and burn him alive. And he's like, "You killed us all." His eyes like fucking glazed over. It's so sad. It's like no. Then he's like, "Yep, I deserve this. Like, bring it on." Um, Kung Lao also fucking dies. Very shocking death. They've kind of just gone ahead and just made Kung Lao a fucking whipping boy. He beats Kintaro. Raiden goes, he must win. He looks at his like amulet thing and he sees that it's still splintering. So Liu Kang won the events of MK1. So he's like, oh, so I must have to do something. Kung Lao, let's see you do it. And Liu Kang and him get all jealous and shit and have their little rivalry. Kung Lao beats Kintaro and he goes, see that Liu Kang? I can do that. And then just gets his neck snapped by Shao Kahn. It's like, oh shit! I was like, wow, that's crazy. And that's kind of what it's kind of also a callback to either Mortal Kombat 2 or 3 probably, where he thought that Kung Lao died, and that's what allowed him to get the finishing blow on Shao Kahn. That's what happens in this one. Punches a fucking hole through, right through his chest, or right there through his torso, in the little middle. Um, yeah, Kung Lao's dead. Bihan dies. Um, uh, at the beginning, Raiden tells Scorpion he doesn't need to enact vengeance. He doesn't need to do this. Get his revenge. And Quan Chi is like, he killed your family, so he still does it anyway. So it shows that even though that Raiden can get involved and like try to stop things, it's not always gonna like guarantee victory. So Bihan gets killed. We'll come back to Kuai Liang. Sindel kills so many people. It's like the Red Wedding in Mortal Kombat. She kills so many people. Ermac doesn't die. Reptile doesn't. Katana dies. She's one of the ones that falls to Sindel. Johnny gets his ass kicked by Sindel but doesn't die. Jade gets killed. A lot of them get one shot. One shotted. Melina doesn't die. Nightwolf sacrifices himself to take out Sindel. Um, Cyrax and Sector don't die, but they kind of get fucked over in the timeline. Noob Saibot does die. He gets thrown into like a Soulnado, soul ripped apart. Smoke gets one shotted by Sindel. Sony gets fucked up by Sindel, but she and Johnny are both like the only survivors. Her and those two and Raiden. Jax gets one shot. He gets stabbed with a fucking stiletto heel in his throat. So I was like, when that happened, he's like, oh, I was like, wait, are these people dying? Oh, they're dying. Oh, um, Kano lives. Stryker gets killed by Sindel. Um, when Shao Kahn gets the hole punched through his chest, he grabs Shang Tsung. They're all talking about who's gonna be like his successor, and Shang Tsung thinks he should be. And Shao Kahn's like, no one's taking over for me. And they're like, oh my god, you're still alive. And he grabs Shang Tsung. This is the first time we've ever seen this. I think the only time we've ever seen Shao Kahn do this. Shao Kahn has soul stealing powers as well and absorbs Shang Tsung, and it helps him heal. So fucked. Baraka lives. Cabal gets killed by Sindel. Raiden lives. At what cost though? Cyber Sub Zero gets killed by Sindel. Shiva is still here. Quan Chi is still here. And then we have Scarlet lives. Kenshi shows up in the next game. And then Rain is still alive in the next game. And then, of course, Kratos and Freddy Krueger are not in the main campaign, the main canon, storyline canon. Yeah, we have. Oh, and then Goro and Kintaro are still alive. Shao Kahn, they have the events of the Earthrealm invasion, and after going through all this shit and being like, who is he must win? He goes, oh my god. He refers to Shao Kahn. If Shao Kahn wins the invasion, the Earthrealm invasion, if we submit to him or whatever, he's breaking the rules. Thus, the Elder Gods can intervene. So then he sacrifices himself. It shows like the cuts back to Armageddon and shows like how the parallels and everything. And then Raiden is given the strength by the Elder Gods to defeat Shao Kahn and finally be rid of him once and for all. And then we get the teaser at the end, Quan Chi and Shinnok. So we'll talk about that next week with Mortal Kombat X. You guys have a good one and take care.